She holds me here with only a glance. She's over me. She's over me. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Paranormal Portal. If you're looking for a different program, you're in the wrong place. But if you're looking for entertainment, fun, and maybe a few laughs on the way, then you're right where you belong. Because that's what we're going to try to give you tonight. Of course, that's what we try to give you every night. But hopefully we succeed every night. But anyway, thank you for joining us. It's Sunday. I know it's the end of the weekend and all that, but just remember, you got to program the Monday thing. You got to. We manifest our reality, right? So you got to program and be like, God, Monday is going to be awesome. Can't wait to get back to work. All right. I'm just trying to help. But anyway, welcome to the show. Glad you're here. Hope you guys are doing great wherever you are, whatever's going on in your world. But I got a good show lined up for you, and I'm not all alone. I'm not. Turns out the branch on my family tree is joining me once again. The lowest hanging branch, of course, because you're the first branch, right? So,
the strongest branch. Yes.
Oh, is that what it is? The strongest branch. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the strongest branch on my family tree, otherwise known as my son, Sheldon Thomas. Hi.
Hi.
How's it going, branch?
It's going well. The winds have... I was going to come up with something clever, but I couldn't figure out what that was going to be.
Sometimes that's clever in and of itself. Admitting defeat sometimes can be funnier than actually whatever you're going to come up with anyway. So that's all right.
Admit defeat.
That's all right. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for coming on again with me. It's always wonderful that you've been joining me. So the nights when Don can't be here, generally I've been going alone. And that's fine. I love doing the shows that way too, but it's always better to have someone to talk to and someone to, like Tony from The Confessionals says riff off of. And it's kind of a musical term, but it kind of fits, you kind of riff off each other and bounce things back and forth. And that's awesome. Ethan's doing the emoticon floods there. Don't spam, Ethan. All right, but anyway, I hope you guys are doing great. Tonight we're going to cover ghostly encounters again, but it's because this is in my opinion, and I might be wrong about this, but I think probably one of the most widely understood and recognized paranormal phenomena is ghostly encounters. Like either you have one or you know somebody that has. Or you've had conversations about this stuff with somebody and maybe you're not really into it, but you got to understand there's a lot of us that are. So we try to give a lot of different variety to these shows, to these night terrors, and these are our shorter format shows. They're only about an hour long, or we've been going about an hour and a half lately, but we'll see where we end up. But there's no set time. Whenever we're done, and that's just fine with me. But make sure, ladies and gentlemen, as you're sitting back enjoying the show, that you tell other people about the shows. Post them on your social media. That's really the biggest way to share and to help us is to spread the word by posting the links when I post them or create on the YouTube screen. There's the share button. You can click that, get a link, and post that. And I realize, it might be a kind of a task. But it really does go a long way to help us. And by helping us, I mean that the more people that are taking part in the shows, that are showing up for the shows, the more we'll be able to do, because it all numbers equals, what we're able to glean from that. We are monetized on YouTube, obviously. So those funds always get put back into the show that we are able to get. And so, and I'm not, this isn't me fishing for donations or anything. Please, I just, if you're able to, fantastic, wonderful. But if you're not able to, there's lots of ways to donate to the show. And sometimes it's just donating that word of mouth to people that know you and that are into the paranormal. That's a huge thing for us. So there's lots of ways to help out, and that would certainly be one. So if you don't mind, it helps us a ton. Anyway.
Please do.
Yeah, please do. The phone lines will be open tonight, as they are every other night, but tonight as well. And whoops, I almost clicked the wrong thing. The number for the show is 720-923-0500. Again, 720-923-0500. Those are the numbers for fun here on the Paranormal Portal. So if you got a story of your own to share, I'd love to hear it. Call in and be a part of the conversation. Or if you just want to jump in and talk about something I've said, like you got a different viewpoint, you could call in and be like, no, I think this, as long as it's respectful. I mean, I don't want to get into debates on the show. This isn't a debate show. I'll be the first one to tell you nobody knows what any of this stuff is for sure, but we all have a lot of ideas. And I will also say that any idea is just as valid as any other. So don't feel like you're embarrassed to share what you think. If you might have an idea that will, bring a lot of understanding to a lot of other people to the phenomena. So anyway, call in if you want. We'll be here. I'll be doing my best to keep an eye on the call board. So I'm not sure who Long Haul is in the Discord, but he cracks me up. I was like, hey, everybody, want to go for a ride? And, letting them know that the show was going to start here on YouTube. And Tracy's like, giddy up. And then Long Haul is like, oh, yeah, waiting for the ride. Ride the portal, baby. Ride the portal, baby. That's funny. It cracks me up. I saw that and went, all right, that's good. That's good energy right there, folks. So
yeah, let's ride the portal.
Ride the portal. Weehaw. But I hope you're all ready, because it's time for bed. Boom. And Tracy Gale says, that's what I like about the Paranormal Portal. Oh, thank you. That's great. I'm glad you like it. And I'm glad you guys are always feeling like you're part of the crew, because you are. You guys are all part of the show with me and with Sheldon, of course, or Don when he's here. So we're going to talk
Herman asked you a question, actually.
Where is it? Oh, there it is.
Herman asked, Brent, can your son grow a beard for at least a week?
It's funny. You'd never know he was my son in that regard, because like my whiskers are like, I don't know, somewhere around a 12-year-old's kind of growth. My whiskers grow really slow and sluggish. This kid could whip out a full Santa in about 2 months. I swear to God, you really could, couldn't you?
Even at age 15, I could.
Yeah. He's got way more whiskers than I do, and all of his are still brown, which is something. Mine don't look so dark anymore. It's gone mostly white, but that's okay, because I found time in a bottle. So
that's right. Yeah.
I did want to say, at the tagline, it's time for bed. The reason that I always said that is because these night terror shows used to be called Bedtime Stories from Beyond, and the only reason they're called night terrors now. I liked Bedtime Stories for Beyond. I thought that was a good title and kind of set the mood. But the reason that I had to change it to Night Terrors was there was, I don't know, it was about a year ago, I guess. YouTube was doing all of this separation between shows that are meant for kids and shows that aren't meant for kids. And I didn't want this to be, the Portal to be considered a kid's show. because it opens a whole bunch of can of worms. And so bedtime stories from beyond just sounded way too easy to confuse with the children's story show. And so I was like, nope, we got to call them the night terrors instead. So that's why, but I still say it's time for bed. So just
what about bedtime terrors?
Hey. That part's done. Okay, moving on.
Okay. All right.
It's still like let's just have a vote. I didn't say that. That was an executive decision long ago. It's done. But
Fair
anyway,
enough.
we're gonna get into ghostly encounters, and we've been working our way through a list on the last few shows, and I want to get back to that list, and it's come from ranker.com. We're on number 16, but let me scroll up so I can show you the title of this. It's from their Graveyard Shift collection, and this are hauntings and ghost stories. And it's 22 times people probably encountered a ghost. Written, compiled at least by Jordan Murick. And this is from April 23rd of 2020. It's been a great list. There's some great stories on here, so let's get back to this. We're actually on 16 now, didn't I say? Isn't that what I said, Sheldon?
I thought so.
Okay, yeah. Yep, it is. Okay. So the first one we're going to read tonight is number 16. It's from Redditor Tux93. And Tux93 says, the first one happened when my great aunt died. I must have been around 12 years old, ? And she had helped raise me and my siblings after my dad left when I was 4 years old. And she originally had an ensuite bedroom upstairs. I'm not sure what ensuite means. Anyway, I guess it's a nice bedroom upstairs. I don't know. But when she was ill with cancer, the lounge became her bedroom, as she needed special hospital beds. So my mom moved into the ensuite bedroom. My bedroom was downstairs near to the front door, and sadly my great aunt passed away. And I remember it was too late for the undertaker to come that night, but several nuns stood around her bed and prayed for her. She had been friends with one of the sisters. The following week, loads of our electricals broke for no reason. A few light bulbs blew, the microwave packed in, and some other appliances. And I remember thinking it was weird, but didn't really connect the dots. Then one night, still the following week, I was tidying my bedroom and my door opened ever so slightly. My mom used to do this when it was late to check on that I'd gone to bed, and I remember saying, I'm just finishing tidying, won't be long. And there was no response, and she hadn't closed the door. I should note that the door had a handle that you had to push quite far down in order to open it. It wouldn't blow open, but anyway, after getting no reply, I walked up to see why Mom hadn't closed the door, and the hallway was pitch black. My mom had dozed off watching telly in the lounge, hospital bed that had been removed, or the hospital bed had been removed. I thought it was weird, and eventually I did go to sleep. I had one of those metal bunk beds with a desk underneath, and I woke up in the middle of the night really freaked out because the touch lamp in the corner of my room was on. I remember working up the courage for about a half an hour to climb down the ladder and actually run up to my mom's room. I knocked on her door and explained what had just happened and asked if I can sleep in her bed. I was still skeptical about the lamp, thinking maybe there was a logical reason it was on. And I think my mom probably thought I was just a bit freaked out that my aunt had died recently. But within 2 minutes of being in my mom's bed in my aunt's old room, my great aunt's old radio blasted on really loud static noise, as if a song was trying to come through. Apparently it had never done that before. The radio never worked. My aunt always had it next to her bed when it was in her room because it doubled as a digital clock. And I was so shaken after that, I slept in my own room the following night, and apparently the radio did it again at the same time. My mom did a proper tidy of the lounge and asked if I wanted some magazines to do word searches. These magazines were years old, and there was a big stack of them. My mom finds reasons to keep stuff. The first page I turned to was a Mystic Meg page, which said, when a loved one dies, they mess with your electricals to let you know they've passed over to the other side. I'm pretty sure I thought that was too much of a coincidence at the time, like I was meant to see this message. But I do wish I'd taken more notice for other signs after her death. After that, I had no more signs. But I do dream about frogs a lot, only when I am stressed. Frogs were my aunt's favorite creature. Hey, they're my mom's favorite creature, too.
Oh.
Her and Sweet was frog themed, right down to her shower cap. Ha ha ha. So I like to think it's her giving me spiritual guidance. That's pretty cool. I think that's the case. That's, I mean, it is pretty coincidental. If they hadn't had any activity prior to that, then the aunt dies and boom, things start going wacky. Yeah, it's probably them saying goodbye. That's probably a pretty fair assessment. But again, nobody knows. But it makes sense. Warchild 17, Paranormal Portal. What's happening? Just checking in to hear some ghostly encounters before work. I love you guys. No ho. No what? No, okay. Well, we love you too. We love you too, Warchild, and Warchild rather. Sorry. Great to see you, and I hope you have a great night at work. But hopefully you can stick around for a bit.
Yeah,
we'll try to make it worth your while.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. All right, let's go to the next one. And next one is called Ghost Jams. What do you think of that, Sheldon? Ghost Jams.
Sounds very musical.
I was thinking of sandwiches. I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah, see what I did there?
All right. You always got the humor.
I'm actually just hungry. I'm just hungry.
That's fair, too.
B52 Whammy Bammy put this one out. About 5 years ago, my mom, sister, and I were home, and it was midday. I was in my room, and my mom and sister were downstairs. I heard a sound like a music box and assumed it was coming from the TV downstairs. However, soon my mom and sister came upstairs because they thought the sound was coming from my room. So none of us were playing music, and yet the sound was drifting all throughout the house. Later, the music stopped, and there was a loud crashing sound from my mom's bedroom. The music was never heard again, but it went on for a really long time, and it was not coming from outside. The crashing sound was very loud and definitely freaky, but nothing visible was seen. But I was just wondering if this music box sound is a normal ghost thing, how orbs are associated with ghosts, if that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know that's an association directly, but I mean, if you're hearing music where there's no source, I guess that makes sense. But no, they don't just, like if you hear song, I wouldn't assume it's a ghost right away until you removed all other possibilities, I guess. What do you think, Sheldon?
I think I'd agree.
Yeah.
But if there's no source though, like you go through all the list of trying to debunk it or finding other possibilities, and I would say yeah. I mean the only option then is that is at least paranormal.
At least. Absolutely.
At least.
I think that's cool. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, certainly music has been reported many times, or sounds or things like that, but I think that's pretty wild that they couldn't really figure out where it was coming from. It was just kind of everywhere. And it kind of makes you think, is that like almost like a telepathy at that point? Or are they really truly manifesting musical vibrations in the air? How does that work? That's the part I don't know. That's what I really wonder.
That's the fascinating part about paranormal. Could be any one of what you just said.
Well, because auditory phenomena can be very specific, down to the person. Like, there can be a group of people together, and someone will be like, oh my God, did you hear that scream? And everyone else is like, what? We didn't hear anything.
Oh, yeah.
You know? Or two will hear something and another won't, or, any combination, or all of them will. And so if that's the case, then it probably isn't an actual manifestation of sound waves, but perhaps it's being done on a telepathic level somehow. I see what you mean. What I'm wondering. Yeah. Oh, hey, Wen. I guess we should see who's here. Let's do a roll call quick, because we haven't done that yet. All right. Oh, there isn't very many people chatting yet, I guess. Dream is here. Ethan Seal is here. Maggie M10 is here. Magoo is here. How you doing, Magoo? I used to love Mr. Magoo. Portal Mom's here. Hi, Portal Mom. Rachel Gets It Right is here. Ruger Ridge is here. Tracy Gale is here. Warchild 17 is here. And Wen Wilson. Somebody else just popped in. Android Purity, I guess. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello to all of you. Oh, someone else just popped in. The names just keep shifting. Oh, Patrick McGuire. How you doing, Patrick? Good to see you guys. And if I missed anybody, I'm sorry. But if you want a shout out, just wave in the chat. What's up, everyone? Isaac. How you doing, Isaac? Good to see you. And if anyone else wants to hear me say their name, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
I don't know that me saying your name is a big rush or anything, but I like to say hello to you guys.
All you have to do is at Paranormal Portal and then space, say my name, and he will.
Call me Daddy. No,
Call me Daddy.
I'm just kidding.
As you wish, Daddy.
Oh, Sandy. How you doing, Sandy? Good to see you. And ask and you shall receive. Absolutely. And if you guys have comments, by all means, just do the at Paranormal Portal and ask your question or make your statement in the chat. It's not like you have to call in, but it is great to have a discussion as much as possible. The chat can be, the chat always has a lag. Like there's a production lag for me saying things until it travels through the tubes and comes out on your end. So, and then it takes a while to come back. But the phone, of course, is more real time. But the chat can be slow, and that's aloha again to everyone. Oh, when are you from? Are you from Hawaii? I mean, if I generally associate that with aloha, but I could be wrong. Humor is good. We got all kinds of that. At least we don't take ourselves too seriously.
No. Never.
All right, number 18 on the roster tonight is a comforting spirit. And this is from Redditor Wayne Damien, or Damain. Isn't Damien I-A-N? So this would be Wayne Damain.
I am not the person to ask about spelling.
No, I remembered. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Sure.
So, for some background, I was probably 8 or something like that. And my mom said something, and I got embarrassed and started crying. My mom said, if you're going to cry, go do it in your room. Jeez.
Wow, nice.
That's kind of thick. Okay. Like she always did when I cried. Oh, that's kind of sad all by itself.
It is, actually.
Anyway, I walked to my room and flopped on my bed, bawling my eyes out. And I was facing down on my stomach, so my face was on the pillow. I was trying to muffle my scream/crying. And suddenly, I feel a hand on my back, and it rubs in 3 circles at the same time. My bed dips as if someone sat on it. Then it stops. My bed goes back to normal. And I never heard the door shut or footsteps to the door. I don't know what happened, and I don't know what it was, but nothing like that has ever happened to me since then. So that's really kind of beautiful, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if somebody's there just, comforting you, like, you know what, it's going to be okay. Now, I'll be the first to tell you, I totally get that parenting is hard. But I don't know if somebody's truly sad, you want to cry, go do it in your room. Or the other golden one, you're going to cry, I'll give you something to cry about.
Oh, God, yeah. No, you never did that. You never did anything like that.
I never did. I always tried to be as sympathetic as possible. Now, I'll be the first to admit I could have been, always when you look back, you're like, I should have been better about this, that, or whatever. But, I think everybody's just doing the best they can with whatever they're going through. And certainly life is double tough. So I can't say I never got mad, because of course I did. But I just think it's, if somebody's really crying, I don't know what the context was. Maybe Wayne Damain was a big crier, and it was just something that happened all the time.
Yeah.
There's those kids that do it for attention. But
that's right.
It's nice that someone was comforting, at least. But I assume that means it was not someone that was there physically. All right. Number 19, video game ghost. This one you might relate to.
Perfect.
All my boys are gamers. You guys,
That's
all
right.
3 have been just hugely gamers. You love games, and you're all really, really good at them. So
the apple doesn't far from the tree.
Doesn't fall far from the tree.
Did I not say fall?
Yeah, you just kind of went right to far. The apple far from the tree.
It's just one of those days. It's a Sunday, all right?
It's that internet culture. Just cut it out. Just get to the point.
Yeah.
All right. So I get that from my mom, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. The correcting thing.
Oh, I thought you meant gaming for a second. Like what?
No,
Nina's
the
a gamer?
correcting. No, well, I'm sure she probably is, but not video gamer. But anyway, this is from Redditor Nanu Quigum. Nanook Wigum? Maybe Nanook Wigum. Shout out to Miss Corona for resurrecting my Sims addiction. I don't know. That obviously is referencing another post in that thread. I have all expansions, seasons being the one we'll talk about. I was going hard on a Sims binge, having my Sim enjoy a nice layout by the pool. And as they were in a heat wave, but at the same time, I was listening to the Netflix show Lock and Key, specifically the part where they use an old jewelry box to control a girl during their lunch. The boy tells the jewelry box, "Make a snow angel," which in turn makes the girl make a snow angel. I look at my TV screen, watch the girl make a snow angel, giggle, and then return my focus to my computer monitor, only to see that a snow angel has been made in the middle of my Sim's house. My Sim did not have guests over, and it was in the middle of summer. I did not capture a photo of it, as in the moment I was too busy trying to turn everything off to really think about it. Wow. I don't know how that works. Now that's interesting. There are beliefs that spirits really can manipulate electronics, and I know we assume that's like radios, turning them on and off, changing channels, whatever, and even manipulating physical objects. But the question would be then, can they influence like a game function? Can they actually intervene in that somehow and cause something to change that shouldn't be there? And I honestly don't think I've ever heard of that before. So this is brand new to me. But what do you guys think? I mean, does that sound like it might be something that's possible? Because, go ahead, Sheldon. I want to hear what you have to say.
Oh, I was just going to say, after I die, we'll find out. That's all I was going to say.
Okay. That's probably true, but I don't know. It makes me wonder because it is, of course, an electronical thing. But okay, so here's the thing with the spirits and manipulating electronic stuff, and this is where I run into troubles with it. Like the on-off stuff, bright light, lower light, turning off lights, turning channels, manipulating physical objects like switches and dials. Sure, that makes sense to me. Now, where I get stuck is in paranormal investigating, things like, I can't remember what it's called, the Ovulus. And it's basically a paranormal investigating tool that is essentially takes electromagnetic variations, and it can be used to affect the sounding of words in a database on this device. And I think that it's pretty interesting in and of itself, and I've certainly seen on the shows that people have gotten some pretty surprising results. But how does that happen? Where's the learning curve on that? Because it's like, hey, we got this device, and if you use your energy, you can make it say things. And instantly it's like dead, and cat, and, any number of weird words that may be relevant or may not be. But I wonder, it's like, well, how did they sort that out? Like, what energy makes what sound instantaneously? Because you would expect you'd have to leave it sit for hours, days, weeks while the spirit goes, oh, yeah, this vibration does this. And I can say poop if I do this, or something stupid like that. But it's always instantaneous. It's always like devil, hell. And, how did that happen? How did that translation of using your energy to influence an object that will generate sounds of words based on that energetic input? Now, I have also seen on some of the shows, very rarely, but it'll be like this. The device starts making all kinds of goofy sounds, and I think, well, maybe that's where the spirit is learning how to do it, or trying to figure it out, sort it out. But that is kind of curious, is like, because somebody built something, how would a spirit know exactly how to manipulate that in the perfect way to say some word that may be relevant to a case. And that's the conundrum for me.
Yeah, I have to concur, because even when you think about it, if it was easy for any type of being, spiritual or otherwise, in the paranormal area, as far as that goes, if it was easy to move objects and to do things like that, it would be happening all the time, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't. It's only in certain moments, in certain environments. Maybe they need, like, with more darker entities, as far as the stories we've talked about and you've talked about on here. Maybe they need a source to amplify it, like, causing fear here, and then it amplifies even more. Or
Sure.
I've always been curious about that. So I mean, I would think it's not just something easy they can do.
Right.
I mean, as far as how I'm thinking about it. So yeah, I agree.
I think that's an interesting point, because I know that some investigators use like EM pumps. They're like these devices that are supposed to emit high EM fields in order. Electromagnetic is what EM means in this case. But the idea is that by doing that, you're charging or giving the entity some energy to work with. Now, the other part of it is there's, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, but it's not just my opinion. This is discussions I've heard. Some things I agree with, some things I don't, but I think it makes sense. Like what we experience as ghosts, this whole pantheon of things that we just throw one word at and say it's ghosts, but I don't think it's just ghosts. In fact, in many cases, it may not even ever have been a person. Now, when I hear ghost, I equate that to a person who's passed but hasn't transitioned. And when I hear spirit, I think of, that's like saying people. People can mean a whole bunch of different things. But when I hear ghost, I'm thinking of formerly living in human bodies people that have passed on and for some reason or another are still residing in the earthly plane. And I do think, though, that when you're thinking of these different things that populate what we experience as ghosts or spirits, there are many different ones. Like, it's not just they were all people, and it's not just they're all demons. Like, there's a whole pantheon of beings that we experience as spiritual energies. And I think that along with that comes different energy levels. So like the formerly human ghosts, I don't think probably like reside in a real high energy state. In fact, I think, and this is just my opinion again, so don't, it's just me thinking out loud and sharing it with you. I think that the formerly human ghosts are probably existing in a state of weird flux, and maybe not even conscious most of the time, like maybe in a dormant state. Or in a semi, I don't know, almost what we would equate to like being in a coma, just there and maybe processing things, maybe working through things, but in a state of flux. Now, when people come around or high energy things happen, it might be an individual that radiates a lot of energy they're able to draw on. It might be devices. It might be any number of things where they're able to glean energy. It could be heat, as we know that cold spots happen with spiritual encounters. So they may be drawing energy from any number of different ways. But I think there are other things that exist they're not in the next world phase. Maybe they're from this realm natively, like nature, spirits, sylphs, dryads, those kind of things. Maybe they are part of this realm, but they exist to us as spiritual entities. But they are probably existing in a much higher energy state. So they could do what we equate as like a poltergeist type of activity, very energetic and a lot of interactions. So therein lies the big question is, what are you actually dealing with? If you've got a lot of things popping off and like, your doors are opening and closing and there's, running through the house and all kinds of crazy activity, I would think to me, it doesn't seem as likely that it was a ghost. It might be something else that is a spiritual, but maybe not that. I don't know if I went anywhere with that or if any of that even made sense. So if not, I apologize. But those are some of my thoughts.
I think that was good. Rachel brought up a good point in the chat too, to kind of go along with that.
Go ahead.
It seems spirits / entities just try different things to communicate, and maybe determination, familiarity helps. Bees see ultraviolet. Maybe spirits see all energy fields to manipulate. Maybe there are many. Because even when you think about it,
Yeah.
As far as the spectrum of sight and like what's available to see in general, we only see like a small bit of it. Like it's the color spectrum that we can see and whatnot on Earth.
Yeah.
But there's a whole spectrum that you could see out of, and maybe for spirit they're not limited by that.
Well, sure, and I would agree with that because, of course, light is energy. All the spectrums of light is energy. So, whereas we're limited by our physical ability to receive that, have it interpreted into signals for our brains to observe and see. I don't think that the same is true for spirits. Like, just like you say, I'm agreeing with you and agreeing with her, is that, they receive all energies. And I think they also includes thought energies. Like, they know what you're thinking because whatever thoughts are in your head are existing energetically, and they project beyond us. And so I think that, they know what you're thinking when you're scared or not scared, and, all of these things. So yeah, I think that's a good point. I think that we are encumbered by these bodies, which act as a filter in that regard. Like we don't perceive all those energies unless you really work on it, meditate. And that's what being, quote unquote, psychic is to me. It's just, whether naturally or through practice and by, working on it, you become aware of those subtler energies that are still existing around. And they may come in the form of, impressions or moods or whatever, you know what I mean? Like empaths.
Yeah.
Empaths pick up energy. Like,
Oh, yeah.
They pick up the mood of somebody just walking in the same room with somebody. You'll know in an instant, an empath will know in an instant something's wrong. They can feel the weight of whatever's going through that person's mind. And so I think even with spirits, it's just magnified, by so many more. Just some thoughts.
Yeah, I concur. And even Jasmine Winter in the comments agrees.
Oh, good.
That she understood.
Oh, that's good. Good. Oh, she's a psychic medium. Aha.
Yes.
Aha. She's got the ability already. Oh, very interesting. Thanks, Herman. I'm glad because, the thing that I always worry about is trying to translate all the stuff that goes through my head in a way that'll make sense, because all these thoughts just fly through my head all the time. And it's like, well, I try to explain them on the show, and I always hope, did I sound like an idiot? Was I just sitting here babbling, or did that actually make sense? So I'm glad you guys, I'm glad it made sense. So. Yeah. Hey, Renee, good to see you. Oh, I gotta wet the whistle. So
Yes.
that was the video game Ghost, and I think that's a cool idea. Could they influence video games? Could they actually do things to the virtual worlds that are created in a computer? And I think that's really impressive. It's an impressive thing to think about, and something. I mean, I've heard people talk about. Well, they can travel through the webs. They can go through the internet. They can haunt another person's house. Just by that connection, like, you're chatting with somebody, boom, a spirit can go. Maybe that's true. I don't know. But anyway, just some weird thoughts. I got a bunch of them. I got a ton of them here. All right. So that was the video game Ghost. Number 20, The Faint Scent of Perfume by 8boy. This is your 8boy. It happened some time ago, like summer 2019. This must be a young person. Some time ago for me is a whole different thing.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. My family bought a flat in a bad state. We renovated it completely, walls, floors, everything. And if you want to find out if you got ghosts, folks, renovate. Once you start renovating, you'll know whether the former occupants approve of your choices. We have 3 rooms next to each other. Room on the left, room in the middle, room on the right. My room was supposed to be the one in the middle. When I sometimes visited the place when the people worked there on renovating it, I talked to them and stuff, and had several occasions to just step into my room to be. Though then it was only empty walls, broken floor, etc., And there was a smell. I couldn't really put my finger on it, but it smelled somehow like perfume or flower-like, kind of fresh. Wasn't a faint, almost unnoticeable. It wasn't a faint, almost unnoticeable smell. Every member of the family felt it stepping inside of the room. I simply thought it was just something the workers used to renovate, but then it was finished. We moved in, and the smell was there. I started living in the room, my sister in the one on the right and my grandma on the left, and my room was the only one that had this smell. Every time someone entered, they were like, "Oh, it smells so nice in here." And we were wondering why. I had nothing that could create a smell, nothing at all, actually. At the beginning, we were living with only the cardboards everywhere. The smell was there for like 3 months, maybe, and then it just disappeared without a reason. There's nothing outside that can create this smell. We live on the first floor, and under our windows, there's a place where all the garbage is collected, so I kind of expected an unpleasant odor, to be honest. I heard ghosts can bring a smell to the place, so I'm asking if it might be some kind of ghost, and if so, why and how did it leave, if it ever did? Yeah, I think that spirits use lots of different ways to communicate their presence. And I think that smells is probably the least frightening. So like if a spirit is just, "I'm here, but I don't want to freak them out, I'll just put a smell out there." Like they can maybe influence the energy to create a smell. I don't know. Again, just thinking out loud. But in this house, it hasn't happened for a while. I haven't caught the smells for quite a while now. Maybe a matter of months. But then again, it's summer. Maybe I only smell it really in the winter when everything's all closed up. But every once in a while, I'll smell like this old lilac perfume. And I don't know if lilac's the right scent or not. I'm a guy. I don't know this stuff. But I think it's like lilacs. It's just got that kind of sweet, but not really pungent, but it's a very noticeable odor. And it's never in the same place. So it's not like, oh, when I'm there. So the reason I say that is because anytime you live in a house with woodwork, wood is an amazing sponge for odors. And what'll happen with woodwork is they will absorb, and as the wood expands, it's pulling in not only the air around it, but it's also pulling in whatever's in the air. So a big one is like pipe smoke, pipe tobacco, or cigars. That when it gets cold, of course, it contracts, but as it warms, it expands and will release a little bit of that smell. And so a lot of times smells, rogue smells like that can be, usually pretty quickly dismissed just by, you see the woodwork there. That's why. Now, all the woodwork in this place is absolutely painted over, probably like 8 or 9 times. But that smell is still, and it's, the only times I ever really notice it is like when I get up and go to the bathroom or something at 2 or 3 in the morning. It's like I'll pass through an area, either in the living room or in the kitchen area, where I catch that smell. It's like, what is that? So, but I think it might be a way that spirits can communicate their presence in a non shocking manner, because that's what I always think. It's it smells like maybe an older person's perfume of another generation, So maybe it's that. Now, I also will once in a while get smells that instantly, to me, remind me of something. Like my cousin Marilyn, who is more like, it's my mom's cousin, but she was my cousin and was removed, or however that works. But in their house, they had this really neat smell. It was very unique to their house. And there'll be times when suddenly I'll smell that. And I think, oh, is that her stopping by? Is that her checking in on me or just saying I'm here? And it kind of makes me feel good, So when those smells happen, is that possible that that's the way that our loved ones or others might let us know, hey, I'm here, just stopping in. And of course, once I smell it, I think of her, and I think that's really cool.
The only question I would have for the person who wrote this story is if at the same time they were smelling this, were they renovating that room that he was supposed to live in, or were they not renovating it or hadn't gotten to that point yet? Because as like, let's say you're pulling up carpet or anything like that, anything that's spilled,
Sure.
or like any stains, smells that have stained into maybe the floorboards underneath or whatever could come up after tearing them up. So that would be like my only question. Otherwise, I have no idea.
Yeah. No, that's a great point. Of course, and it only lasted for a period of time. So you're right. It might have just become exposed, was present for a while, and then was kind of done. And I don't know. That's probably what I would defer to in this case. That maybe it was just that, but maybe not. It's hard to know. Android says, so 8 or 9 times, either your home is pretty old or you all love decorating with paint. No, I just rent here. I don't own the house, just for the record. So it's been around. It's actually one of the oldest houses in this town. So it's seen a lot of love. In fact, even the walls and everything were redone. So like it's not that really old house kind of walls. It's like they were resurfaced or something. Maybe there was plaster in here that just got really bad, so they just resurfaced it with sheetrock and stuff at one point. And so everything is well, it's not really modern, but it's certainly not in the era of the age of the house. But anyway, Rachel says, if a perfume was a favorite of the spirit part of personality, a ghost may produce a frequency of that scent. Maybe shape the very molecules of the air the witness smells it. Yeah, I think that's a great possibility.
Yeah.
That's very, very right on, I think. Yeah. Oh, Maggie, what is it? Something made Maggie well up. I could smell my nan once. It was the most comforting thing ever. Yeah, that's very cool. Very cool. Android, wow, how many families lived there before, do you think? I don't know. It was built in the late 1800s, so quite a few. I don't know how long it's been a rental. I don't know any of the real backstory other than I know that a teenager took his life here. And that's, of course, very tragic. But actually learning that, for me, created an understanding of some of the weird things that happen. Like, I really think that spirit is still here in at least some part of the time. But I never knew what was going on here. But when I heard about what happened here, then it helped me go, oh. And I was able to have a sympathy and, I don't know, maybe a caring of that person's pain. And because that's something I can relate to. I had someone dear to me take their own life. And of course, that's a heartbreaker. So, yeah, I don't know. And I don't know how many people, how quickly people moved out before me, but this kind of stuff doesn't really freak me out, really. It's something that I've been around for quite a long time, and that's not me bragging. It's really not like I never get scared out of place. No, I'm not that person. I learned long ago, you challenge the universe will answer. So.
Oh yes.
But whatever it is, it's not malicious. I don't think, for the most part. It's just, maybe trapped in a state of pain or whatever. But. Yeah, I think that there's a lot of history. Every house that's been around for a while, I think it's an imprint of some kind, though. All right, let's go to the next one. Sorry, I got a cough again.
That's okay.
There's a lot of forest fires in the area, and the air around here it's like I look on my phone to get the weather, and it's like redlining for the air, the air quality. It's like, oh, man. Yeah. So that's always wonderful.
Is it getting any better, or is it still just as bad?
It's gotten better. I think they're getting them under control, which helps a bunch. But
okay, good.
The Ghost of Seth MacFarlane, number 21. The Ghost of Seth MacFarlane. Hold on. Me and my sister were watching Family Guy at nights with the lights off, and the switch was on off. What? The switch was on off. It was switched off. Okay. All right.
Oh.
I had to translate what that meant quickly. After a scene where Peter mentions that he was going to sleep with the lights on, our lights flickered for about 30 seconds. very fast, and then stayed on with the switch in the on position. Now, I know this sounds crazy. It may not be a ghost, but the house we live in has had someone die inside of the home about 8 years ago. We've had smaller unusual occurrences before, with our phones glitching with a voice coming out of it. Oh, wow.
Oh,
And then,
okay.
then several nights where we hear things or have doors shut. I just want to know if I sound crazy by thinking this is a ghost or not. No, I think you're right on track. I think that's a fair guess. That's my
Now, if it stopped at lights flickering, I was actually going to say like, well, I actually have a similar issue in the house I'm at right now. But then all the other stuff was like, oh, okay, all right. I see.
If your phone is talking to you when nobody's calling, then you might have problems. That's creepy.
Yeah.
Number 22, which should be the last one on this list. It's from Jazz Lebert. I don't know what that is. I live in a little house with my girlfriend since 1 year from the moment I write this story. Little but cozy house where we are good. I'm glad they're good. Okay. 6 months ago, we had to revise our water heater. Replace, I guess. My girlfriend and I were at work when the repairer had to come. The guy wasn't a plumber. And it's an important information you'll understand later. We asked to my girlfriend's father to be at our house when the guy comes. Obviously, the English isn't their first language, but that's okay. To help him and answer his questions if needed. Anyway, everything went as planned. Nothing special to report. The next day, I went to work as usual. Around 8 o'clock, I received an SMS from my girlfriend. SMS, I think I hear that all the time, and it's texts. I don't know if everybody knows that or not, but I was like, what the hell's an SMS? Oh, that's a text message. Okay. From my girlfriend, and she thanked me for changing the tap debit regulator. You know, the little part at the extremity of your tap, which makes the water foam a little. She was happy because we had scale in the tap since several weeks before. The issue is that I never changed it. We had a brand new tap extremity and the old one put on the sink just next to it. We asked my girlfriend's father, and it's not him either. I'm sure this is not the repairer. He only came to check our water heater. And that's all. Why would he have changed the tap debit regulator? Yeah, that's a different word, I guess. The aerator? Is that right? And even so, why would he have had the exact part to replace? Furthermore, my girlfriend's father told us that the guy never went in the bathroom and did not stay more than 10 minutes. Today, we still don't know who changed it. Maybe we have a plumber entity taking care of us. Yeah, that's the kind you want. If they're going to be around, might as well pitch in a little. What do you think, Sheldon?
Oh, I was muted. Okay.
Yeah, that's...
I was talking. Okay. I was saying I wish I had that ghost. I really did. I really do.
Yeah, I know. It would be nice to have a handyman ghost. It's like, oh, that door's broke. You get up the next day. It's all fixed. That'd be nice.
Hey, yeah, can you take the garbage out too? Thank you.
Ooh, yeah, I need that one. That always ends up being my job. Well, there you have it. That was the list. How are we doing?
The list.
That was the list. And you know what? That actually took it's like 5 minutes till 8 already. Wow. But you know what, folks?
Hey, nice.
Hey. The good news is the show is not yet over. So don't think you got to leave, folks, because we got more. There's more coming up. And that is in the form of the Trail Cam Terrors.
That's right.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Trail Cam Terrors, our place where we discuss and showcase actual alleged paranormal activity that was caught on camera. Oftentimes we cover trail cams, but we went through a ton of those, and there's some that I just won't show because they're very obviously not paranormal. But then we've gone to Ring doorbells, then we've gone to security systems. We're kind of doing the whole gambit. So if you ever come across a trail cam terror that you'd like featured on the Trail Cam Terrors, meaning if you come across a video of something paranormal happening and would like to share it on the show, I would certainly be happy to showcase it in this slot on the Night Terrors. So anyway, the one we're going to discuss tonight actually comes from a TV channel. It's KRQE. I don't know where this is exactly, but it's from their YouTube channel. And again, KRQE. And I'm going to cue it up here so it's big. So we're going to watch a little news. And it's not the Portal news, but it is the news.
Oh, no.
The news.
Even scarier.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at this. You all ready? Here we go.
Good afternoon. A Clovis family's dinner was interrupted last night by an unexpected guest, one they don't think is of this world. News 13's Allison Martinez has the video and the story from Clovis.
A creepy, unusual sight.
As soon as I saw it, that my hair stood up because I've never seen
And it's in a bun.
before.
The Hernandez family saw something they can't explain, captured by their home security cameras in Clovis.
My husband happened to look over right when I guess the image came up, and I originally didn't see it. My husband did, and he's the one that was like, I don't.
No, this is the part that I don't quite understand. So they're sitting here at the, I don't know, breakfast bar or whatever you call this, and they have a television over here. But instead of having something on TV, they watch the security camera. Is that just me?
Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't you think they'd actually watch TV? But unless they're doing a reenactment here. I don't know. That could be. But, I mean, it's like the footage is on the TV. That's very strange to me. Why wouldn't they have on, like, some show that they like to watch or something?
Seems really convenient.
That is a little weird, isn't it? Is it just me?
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's keep watching and see how this goes.
Was that a person? And then started, saying, no, that couldn't have been, and then panicked and ran over.
This is what they saw during dinner last night. It looks like a person in an otherworldly form. Their explanation? It's a ghost.
And this one is definitely brighter. You can see it 100%, and you can see the movement of either arms or legs going with the body as it goes by.
They say their house has some history. Before moving in, Brianna spoke to a gentleman who was very familiar with the property.
And he said that several years ago, I believe it was his uncle, had a house on this corner lot, and his uncle passed away.
They claim the home stayed vacant before it was torn down to build the new duplexes. Brianna claims she wasn't a firm believer before, but now things have changed. Reporting in Clovis, Allison Martinez, worldly
I'm going to watch this again.
Their
Let's turn off the sound. But when you look at it, you really can. Like a lot of times, folks, I like to say, well, most of these are to me very clearly something dangling close to the camera, close enough that it's actually catching the infrared boost and it's reflecting back into the lens. Like, for instance, a spider web, a cobweb that's dangling down, or an insect crawling across the frame or something like that, or a spider's built a nest right in front of the camera and happens to be crawling across. Like, a lot of them look like that, but this motion that is being shown here really does look like somebody's kind of pumping their arms and their legs as they're walking. It looks like kind of a smashed down little version. Like, it doesn't look like a full-sized adult type apparition. It looks like something smaller, but what could that be? I don't know. But when you watch it, and if you haven't already, try to zoom in, make it full screen, but it really does pump its arms and like boom, boom, boom. It's like you can see the footsteps that it's taking, and there really is like an up and down motion to it, as if it's actually taking strides. And then it kind of fades out there, and it's hard to know why. Is that at the edge of the sensitivity, or is the boost? But I mean, it is clearly translucent. Like, you can see through it. It's not transparent because that'd be invisible, obviously, like a window, but it's translucent in that, and it might be just the pixels that make it look really translucent, but there is a pixelization pattern here, and that would be the sensor of the camera, but it does look like you can see a bit of that shadow coming through the image as it's clearing this. You can almost see that coming through, so it does appear to have a translucency to it. So what
The thing I'm trying to see is the legs. I can see the upper torso of the image, but I can't see any legs. I'm trying to focus for it, but I can't see any legs,
Right.
leg movement where the legs would be.
Right. Yeah, it's like it's either just a torso and above, or it's a very diminutive thing that has very stunted arms and legs. And there again, if it was indeed a spirit, could it be one of those that was never a human? It's just something else. And maybe. So, I don't know. Just ideas, folks, but it's a pretty good video. I think to me, it looks like they really captured something. It doesn't have the same hallmarks. A lot of times when it's something dangling in front of the camera, and I know you can see my mouse, but you'll notice like a pendulum type of swing to the object. And then it's like, well, there's something holding it off camera up above. And it might be at one side of the camera, but so it'll kind of come up and then go back down, or it might be in the middle. But it has a definite arc to it. And this is clearly going in a very straight trajectory, and it seems to be following, the edge of the driveway right over, and then kind of fades out over here. So, I don't know. I'd like to see this shot in the daytime so we could really understand what it is we're looking at. I mean, you can make out that the neighbor's house is across. This is a road. This is the end of their concrete driveway, and this is probably their lawn over here. But there is this over here. So what if it was a little kid walking over to a parent, and it just, for whatever reason, the camera really didn't pick him up? I mean,
Well, it looks like it's walking in their driveway.
Right. It's like it's walking across the driveway and then kind of ends up down here more by the road as it fades out. Let's watch it again. Yeah, it's kind of going at a diagonal pattern. But
Yeah.
I think it's a great capture. I really do. I'm really kind of impressed by this. And it never, at least the footage we're able to see, it never really fades completely out. Like you can track it. It kind of fades in though. That's the weird part, is that it kind of appears to come in right about here. So it didn't appear before that, which I find very interesting. Is that
true.
the location of the portal? Could this be the point of the portal where it came into our realm? I don't know. Just throwing it out there, folks. But it's pretty cool stuff. So think what you will. I don't have the answers, but I find it extraordinarily interesting all the same.
That's some really good footage. I agree.
Me too. All right, let me get this out of the way. Now I can bring you up. All right, and cameras, action. There you are. We only got like your chin and head on the screen, but
What? Oh.
yeah. Does your chair sink down during the show? Is that what happens? I swear.
No, my camera tilts up during the show. I don't.
Okay.
There's nothing to grab on. It's on the top of my monitor right now. So.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, because it's like you started out like that, but then we end up with just a head on the screen. It's like,
I don't know why it does that. I really don't.
okay. Well,
It's the ghosts. They're trying to screw me over.
Rachel says, a person who stepped into our dimension for a few moments, a temporary missing 411 from another plane of existence. Yeah, wouldn't that be something, right?
Yeah.
Hard to know. And that's a whole nother discussion. God, I could go for an hour just talking about, what are the possibilities of something like that. That's one of those things. The portal was opened. Yep. There you go, Ethan.
That's right.
I've seen some stuff, but don't know if he has it. If he still has it, he upgraded his system. Not so sure. Brad apparently knows somebody that's got some films. But again, ladies and gentlemen, if you've got something that would fit on the show, some kind of video evidence, I'd love to see it and love to showcase it here. If you're interested, portals go both ways, so anything is possible. I would agree, ZX, and I think that that's the case. But I've heard people claim that some portals are just in and not out, and other portals are just out and not in. But I think you're right. I don't think it's like a circuit. I think that it's just a transition point between some kind of dimensional reality and this one. So I think you're right personally, but I've heard people claim that, there's portals that just come in and don't go out. Then they get trapped. And it's like, really? I don't know. I know my door may open only one way, but I can go through it either way. Like the door swings in. Okay, well I can go out, and then I can come back in. So I think
Unless
doors are
whoever
doors.
opened it didn't want them to coming back.
Yeah, maybe they're kicking them out.
Yeah, they didn't pay the spirit rent.
What's the standard for videos you're looking for? I think you said you were concerned about copyright before. Absolutely, of course, I am concerned about. I mean, I when I'm saying this, if you find videos that you think would be great on the show, fine. Send me links to them so I can check them out and look. You know, there is fair use, and I try to stay within fair use all the time on the show. You know, and basically fair use is like I am sharing the work, but I'm transforming it into, you know, using transformative, and that's by commentary. And, you know, reaction videos are all over the internet using other people's videos, but you've got to, you can't just showcase their video and call it a day. So, but if it's your videos, what I'd really like, anybody out there that has their own videos, I'd love to show them on the show. And don't be worried. You know, I'll review them, of course, beforehand. And if they look really cool, we'll put them on. And if not, I'll just, you know, let you know that I don't know if this would be a good fit, but, you know, it happens. Faceless people are creepy. You're right, Wen. I like all my people that I know to have faces, for sure.
True.
So, but anyway, folks, there's a story of a farmer disappearing in front of his wife while he walked across the field. He was wearing, he was heard for months, but never seen again. Wow, that's creepy. That's, you know, that's really kind of super creepy. Could you imagine, like, phasing out of existence? And like the people that you love can still hear you, but you can't get back. Oh my God, that would be horrifying. You know, we've covered many stories on the show, speaking of portals, of people traveling in you know, like out in the woods and stuff. They'll turn a corner and suddenly, you know, day is night and they're in a jungle rather than the woodland that they knew. And, you know, or they're in a mountain or, you know, these really strange things. And the people that are writing these stories say, they freeze, look around, and oftentimes will deliberately retrace their steps, walk backwards until things look right again. And I think maybe that's the trick. Wherever you came in, you've got to go out that same way, because you can lose that in a heartbeat. Like if you go for a little bit and you're like, wait a minute, this isn't the place I know. Instantly turn around and go back to wherever you came in, and hopefully you make it back. Just saying. Words of advice, words to live by. Not that I know, but I'm just telling you what we've shared on the show. So, ladies and gentlemen, This is going to conclude our Night Terrors broadcast for the night. I hope you guys had a good time. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, please spread the word about the shows. Let people know. And Sheldon, why don't you share with the audience the Discord?
Absolutely. So if you want to join our Discord, stay a little bit more connected to us and the community, you can join this link right in the chat. And stay more connected. I post whenever we're going live. Like, I try to be 15 minutes beforehand, but if not, I do it as soon as I can. And we got a bunch of people, a lot of discussion. So if you want to join, we'd
love to see you there. And that's, ladies and gentlemen, was built by Sheldon. He built our Discord, so very cool, buddy. You did a great job. You did a great job. But, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we got for tonight. Did you have anything else in closing, Sheldon? Is that it?
No, that was it.
That was good. And thanks again for joining me again. It's been a lot of fun doing these shows with you.
It's great to be invited every time.
Well, and you guys are always invited too. But spread the word if you would. Let other people know. Maybe Wednesday shows Bring a Friend. It's a Bring a Friend show.
Yeah. So. Got any plus ones? Feel free.
Yeah. I gotta look here for a second. But on Wednesday's show, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be having a brand new guest on the show, and his name is Timothy Wayne Williams, and he's an artist, but he's had some pretty incredible experiences of his own. And he'll be joining us on Wednesday's show, which is, of course, this coming Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here on YouTube. We're going to be talking to him about his experiences. We're going to be showcasing his artwork, and we're going to have a good time with it. So I hope you guys will join us. That's, again, this Wednesday, Timothy Wayne Williams will be joining us. So hope you guys can make it. Mark your calendar. Make sure that you won't be disturbed for a couple hours, because it should be good. It's always good on the portal. But
I mean, if I'm not on the show, I'm going to be watching, so
Yeah.
I'll be right alongside all you guys.
damn right you will. All right, folks, that's all we got for tonight. Thank you so much for being here. Remember, I love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. And sweet dreams. Cue the credits.